It has been like a twisted grab bag with this story. Every day you reach in and you find some new, bizarre, unsettling detail you weren't expecting, and you're not very happy that you grabbed. Today it was this, CBS News first breaking the news that federal investigators are looking into a Bahamas trip that Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz allegedly took in late 2018 or early 2019. Multiple sources telling CBS that Gaetz made that trip to the Bahamas with a let me make sure I get this right, a marijuana entrepreneur and hand surgeon. To be clear, that's one person who is both those things. And that person allegedly paid for Congressman Gaetz' travel expenses, his accommodations, and for female escorts, the sources said. According to CBS News, investigators are trying to piece together whether the escorts were, quote, illegally trafficked across state or international lines for the purpose of sex with the congressman. NBC News has now confirmed this reporting by CBS tonight. We've also tried to reach the marijuana entrepreneur / hand surgeon, but he did not answer our calls. Still, that was fun. Congressman Gaetz reiterated his denial tonight that he's ever paid for sex. He again specifically denied tonight that he had sex with an underage girl. But the story, of course, first broke in the New York Times last week. Congressman Gaetz is being investigated by the Justice Department over whether he had sex with an underage girl and whether he paid for her to travel with him across state lines. If true, that could constitute a violation of federal child sex trafficking laws. The investigation of Congressman Gaetz reportedly started as an offshoot of a different federal child sex trafficking investigation that led to federal charges against a friend of Congressman Gaetz, a local Republican elected official in Florida named Joel Greenberg. Mr. Greenberg was arrested last year on an array of charges, including sex trafficking of a minor. He's currently in jail awaiting trial. He's pled not guilty to all charges against him. According to the New York Times, the sex trafficking count against Mr. Greenberg involves the same underage girl as the Gaetz investigation. Mark Caputo at Politico.com has some new reporting today that sheds some light on the relationship between Gaetz and Greenberg and potentially on the relationship between these two criminal investigations. Caputo at Politico says he spoke with 3 sources who knew Joel Greenberg before he was charged with child sex trafficking. All 3 of them told Politico that they personally heard Congressman Gaetz' friend, Joel Greenberg, bragging about his sexual relationship with a girl who was 17 years old at the time. At least one of those friends has reportedly testified before a grand jury as part of the Joel Greenberg investigation. I mean, what does this mean? We know that these allegations of child sex trafficking against Joel Greenberg are solid enough to have served as the basis for federal charges. We know from Politico's reporting that there are identifiable witnesses who have testified to the grand jury about those charges. Now we have 3 sources talking to a Politico reporter about those charges. So all of that would seem to buttress the seriousness of that charge against Mr. Greenberg. Again, he has denied it. But what exactly is the relationship between this child sex trafficking charge against Mr. Greenberg, which seems to have all of this buttressing support, and the Matt Gaetz investigation for child sex trafficking? On that, again, one more interesting piece of reporting from Politico today. Quote, some people in Joel Greenberg's orbit suspect that Greenberg might now be cooperating with prosecutors to build a case against Congressman Gaetz. Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.